This is why you should overpay for the right property.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're all well. So I am doing this video because it is so relevant in today's market. We all know that property prices are going sky high. So I thought I would share one of my secrets to when and why you should consider overpaying for the right property. But I know what you're all thinking, Dan, when are you going to get your hair cut? You will all be delighted that it is today, straight after I've shot this video. And in this video, I am going to talk about the right type of property that you should overpay for and the right set of circumstances that would dictate you to overpay for the purchase price, but where you can save some large costs. And overall, this video is all about overpaying to gain better value. So you are probably sitting in your chair watching this video thinking, when is it gonna end? How are prices climbing so high and so fast? And the reality is, things like stamp duty holiday and a new appetite to jump into investments and earn money outside of a normal 9-to-5 job are all contributing facts, as well as so many other things, to property prices climbing so fast. And I am a big believer that you should at this point step back, observe the masses and do the opposite, and don't start chasing the pound to get a property and overpay for property. But there are circumstances, no matter what the market is doing, where you should overpay for a property. Now, this isn't specific to everyone. Everyone's circumstances are going to be different. And a lot of this will be relevant to people who are either starting out brand new, and then some of the things that I'm going to talk about are relevant to people who have got multiple projects on the go, but they've got a bit of a gap in their time frame and they want to keep their builders and their employees busy. So there are lots of moving parts to this, but I'll try and keep it as simple as possible. So I'm going to start with probably the best bit of advice, which I should normally leave to the end of the video. But you can overpay for a property that is going to deliver you far more value in the long term. What do I mean by that? So if you bought a property, residential or commercial, it has the ability to deliver a planning gain, or to be converted, or to be split into multiple units. Or you might have a long-term tenant that you know will take this property long-term. Then you have to take a view that even though you are paying maybe £20,000-30,000 over the market value, over the inflated market value, long term, it's going to benefit you because of the ways it can deliver so many things back. So I'll give you an example of this. Years ago, I secured a commercial property on an option agreement with a delayed completion, with a joint venture partner, all to get a planning gain. And I overpaid by about 50,000. But I didn't actually pay anything. I agreed it on an option. So the vendor was getting £50,000 more than what I thought the market value was worth. But the time it took to get all of the things in place, like planning, grade 2 listed builder consent, finance to do the development, joint venture partners, overall, it probably saved me close to £60,000 in interest. So by overpaying £50,000 for the property, I kept the vendor happy and I got the deal, which is the most important thing. I got the deal. But I saved myself £60,000. So you could argue I actually got it for £10,000 less than what the market value was at the time by structuring the deal correctly. And this is where knowing all of the tools available to you is so key. And things like rent to rent, options, delayed completions, assisted purchases, planning gains, all of those things, they are tools, not strategies. You cannot say, I am just going to do rent to rent. I am just going to do lease options. I am just going to do planning gains, because that is a tool, not a strategy. So it's like fitting a round ball through a square hole. It's not always gonna fit. But if you know the tools at your disposal, when the right deal comes along for the right market, you can use the tools to make the deal more commercially viable. And overpaying when you can make the deal better commercially for you is a great way, and the first bit of advice that I would give anyone. Secondly, overpaying for the purchase price, but saving money on all of the costs and fees. Now, commercial property is a great example of this. Stamp duty on residential property for people who are buying a second home or a buy-to-let investment is significantly more than if you are buying a commercial property. And this is really because the Chancellor and the government want investors to invest more money in commercial property. So it's far more attractive to buy the like for like, the pound for pound equivalent in commercial property, because the stamp duty saving is so vast. It is like a quarter of the price over 150, but under 150 it's zero. So if you can play in a market where you're buying properties up to 150,000 and they're considered commercial, you're going to save a huge amount in stamp duty. Now, the cost of the stamp duty is only as significant as the deal. If the residential deal is going to cost you 4 times in stamp duty, but you're going to make 4 times the profit, then it's all relative. So I'm talking about a like for like comparison, a pound for pound comparison, commercial versus residential. I have bought commercial property over the asking price, over the guide price, over the market price, because I know my net cost is actually going to be within the tolerance that I'm happy to do the deal. Then I look at option 1 that I talked about earlier, and it's going to return me in so many different ways, got so many ways of earning money out of this deal. The two together go hand in hand. So that is another really good example. Commercial property, overpay for a good property that's going to pay you back versus what the market value is, and take in overall consideration of the cost. And then last but not least is quite a difficult one, because this kind of goes against everything that I stand for, and it kind of goes against everything that I've been preaching on 100 plus videos on my YouTube channel for just over a year, which is buying a property when you don't have anything else to do. Now, for me, I've got guys, workmen that have been with me for 10 plus years, and part of my responsibility to them is to keep them in work constantly. And to do that, I need to be buying deals. And I haven't bought a deal for the sake of keeping the guys in work for some time. I've always just bought really good deals and they fall in quite nicely. But this year is proven to be something completely different. I've got a couple of purchases going through that should have been through 4 months ago, and they're taking a long time. And I've had a couple of offers which were low, not accepted. But spending time doing the research, doing the due diligence, putting the offer forward, and then holding the cash ready to see if you get the deal takes a lot of time, and it stops you then moving and shifting for other deals. And that then can create a period where you've got nothing else on the go. Now, I've got quite a bit on the go at the moment, but a lot of it is larger scale development where my main guys aren't actually working. So I need to find something which is a good deal for me, but also keeps them going. And I guess more recently, I have decided to start to overpay versus what I would historically pay, so I can get another deal, so I can get them in it and I can turn it around. Now, I'll still make a good profit. I'm talking like 70 grand profit on these flips that I can do within 6 months, but it's not 100 grand. And that 30,000 historically would have been enough for me to say no to the deal if I had other deals on the go. But the reality is I don't have as many as I would like. So I've got to start to decide. Either I overpay and earn a little bit less, or I just simply don't do the deal. And when you've got guys who are working with you 100% of the time, not actually doing any work, that is when you have to make that tough choice. But look, that's a really light-hearted video for me. I hope you've found some value in this crazy market, and you're sitting there maybe wondering, when is it going to change? When do I start overpaying? Well, hopefully that gives you some insight as to when and what you should be buying. But that's it from me. Hope you found the content rich. I'll catch you all on the next video.
Fire loud, another rocket shot.